Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Criterion Blu-ray update. It's been a bit since I've done this Criterion Blu-ray specifically because I've been focusing more on the regular Blu-rays. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that's getting bigger. It's just that I have not been having a lot of time watching any of Criterion movies at the moment. So I'm still like in the 50s, but I haven't done anything yet because I've been busy watching Oscar movies of the 2000s. But these three films specifically all came out last year. Two of which are 2023. Well, here's the thing. Well, I will say this. Best screened after so many speech impediments and stuttering. One Best Picture nominee. One that could have been. And, well, actually two, actually. But the one in the center is my first in the Janus Contemporaries line. And I think that's where we're going to start up a bit, and that is Godland. So, obviously, for those who don't know, the Janus Contemporary lines is a new line that Criterion started, I believe, about, over a year ago. And there have been a couple of films that happened. Janus, it's basically like the main studio distributor that Criterion does with a lot of their movies. I know, unless if it gets like a Best Picture nomination, it would go in the main line like Drive My Car is. But if it doesn't, or like if it gets a Best Picture nomination, it will probably be in the main line. But if it's not, it will go under this. I know there are a couple of notable other films that are in this. EO, the Polish film, which was nominated for International last year, and All That Breeze, the documentary, Wim Wenders' documentary, I forgot what it was. It was released in the same year as Anselm, and I know the Mexico film Totem is going to be added to the collection here, but this is my first one. I did saw this film, and it is a real unique Iceland film about this supposed new, it's not, like, I forget what type of Christianity religion it is, but it's like a new minister, and he has this big new adventure, I think it with just the camera, and just takes some unique photographic memories, and like specifically, it's kind of a road trip journey. It's kind of like Lunana, a Yak in the Classroom, but he just stays at the main location where he's at, kind of close to the end of the film, and this movie is shot amazingly. Would it make into my international lineup? At the moment, it kind of would be at the moment, but I am planning to watch Totem some point soon in the future. I don't know when, but if I would say, this movie definitely should have got nominated for cinematography. It really is well shot. Now I will go over to here at Spy Number 1234, which is which was released last month, from Andrew Hay, All of Us Strangers, starring Andrew Scott, Paul Mescal, Jamie Bell, and Claire Foy. Definitely one of the best movies of 2024 that was not nominated at the Oscars. It did well at the BAFTAs, getting in for directing. It got in for Paul Mescal and Claire Foy. Not for Andrew Scott, though, for Best Actor. It got adapted screenplay. I can't really go much in it. I know that this, from what I've been hearing, the source of this movie was originally based on a horror novel, and then Andrew Hay completely made this unique turn for the film to make it a very sad film. It just, like, it is kind of sad. I can't really go much into it, but it's basically something that our main character is having a massive grief with his parents. But I can't really go much into detail about it. But he also falls in love with the only resident of the apartment that he resides at, which is played by Mescal, fresh off of his Oscar nomination of After Sun, and before he stars in Gladiator 2, which is going to be coming out in about a few weeks. But I just say, Andrew Scott, definitely fantastic. But Claire Foy, why was she not nominated for Best Supporting Actress? If this movie was nominated at the Oscars, she would have been my Best Supporting Actress winner in terms of the Oscar eligibility. But in general, she would be my winner over Da'Vine Joy Randolph. It's just, like, I saw this before the marathon because when I saw that when this was announced, I decided to watch the film since I had the right to, and oh my gosh, it is such a sad film. But the big one I want to talk about here is Anatomy of a Fall, Spy number 1218 by Justine Triet. So, any neon movie that gets an Oscar nomination for Best Picture gets in the main line here in Criterion. So, Anora from Sean Baker is going to be following that up most likely next year. Obviously, this did win for Best Original Screenplay for Triet with her husband Artur Harari. Sandra Hüller got a fantastic Best Actress nomination. Directing, Best Picture, and Film Editing. And this is an intense crime film, just like more of a courtroom film specifically about the massive question is, did Sandra did it or not? Like, that's actually, they used her real life first name for the movie. I don't know if she did it or not because it is still a mystery. But there are many key aspects. The use of languages is great here, even though it is half French and half in English, but it works so well. And I can understand, and after seeing it, yeah, I would have ruled it ineligible for Best International Feature because if there's like a mixture of both language in a 50-50 thing, I would have ruled it ineligible, but it still did well in its own because there obviously are at the in any award shows in general. Now, obviously, the reason the the French committee did not submit this film for France for the Oscars, either because of the language or because they are punishing Triet for a controversial speech she made, calling out the French president on some sort of movement after the film won the Palme d'Or in Cannes, and some members might punish her for that. But I would say, for me, I would say if I was a member of that, I would say I'd be questioning if it would be eligible or not. So I would have probably say no, but they submitted The Taste of Things instead. Haven't seen that film, obviously. But this movie was fantastic. I love the Triet nomination. She was so close to getting in my personal director line. I think she was at one point until I saw Killers. Yeah, she was a bit until I saw Killers of the Flower Moon. And Poor Things specifically. So, but yeah, she would have been my third pick for director in that lineup. But definitely a great female choice, although my personal pick would have been Celine Song. But can I say, why does the Academy not nominate any child actors? Because as you saw, in my personal Oscar lineup, I nominated Milo Gardner for supporting actor, and he would actually be my winner. I mean, that is a fantastic child performance, and I don't know what's with the deal with Academy not recognizing it. And it's just like, that's just really a shame. And the dog Messi, so iconic. And that song, what was it, a 50 Cent song that was throughout that movie? It's just, okay. The only thing I don't want to mention about this release of the film that I kind of don't like, and I think some people might agree with me, is the cover. I know it's just Sandra Hüller in her face and a little bit of blood on the titles, but I rather wish it was just the poster of the film, because I know there are some movies like Parasite and Drive My Car that kind of have a reminiscence of the poster, but I think this movie should have had the poster as this cover, because the poster basically explains everything what you're about to know. So, that's the only thing I will say. But that's kind of a quick thing. And this might be my last Criterion Blu-ray update of the year. Because I don't know if I'm going to get more for the rest of these next 2 months. Or because, look at that. I might be getting more of that. So, hopefully when I see a lot more 50s movies. And like if this shelf is filled up and we enter in this one. Or the one below it. Most likely that one. I will probably do a full Criterion Blu-ray full collection video, but not at the moment because it's a bit slow. But with that being said, fantastic films from last year. Great to have them all in my collection. And the first from the Janus lines, deserving Best Picture nominee, and one of the best films not nominated the Oscars.